I'd known there was something wrong with my memory for a while, and they were tracking me at Northwestern for a long time, and at one point, one thing that sticks out in my head was they had done a neuropsych evaluation, and my short-term recall had gone from 80% to 20. And that really, was a wake-up call to me. The Rehab Institute has recommended that I don't travel from here to St. Louis by myself. And that's going to be a major, if that gets enforced by the doctor, who I guess has the ultimate word, is going to be devastating. It's my hometown. I like to go to Cardinals games there. I have friends and a few relatives around there. I've become part of larger groups for certain special occasions. I have an appointment with the doctor on the 6th. I'm sort of I thought about calling him a little bit, but then I thought, well, maybe he's decided to, but he's going to tell me in person. And I'd rather hear it in person, I think. And I didn't want to precipitate anything. Like, okay, yeah, don't drive down there.
Any other new medical problems?
Nope.
No, so you've been healthy?
Yep, except for I don't eat very well, but...
You had said that your appetite was okay.
Oh, my appetite's good.
Uh-huh. So why
I just
don't
don't eat the most healthy food.
Oh, I see. So, Margaret, let's do a few thinking tests, all right? Let's just do that, and then we'll talk about all the rest of the questions afterwards,
Okay.
all right? So, you know the drill. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and just humor me, and we'll get through them, all right? Tell me where you are right now.
I'm at Northwestern Memorial on the 20th floor.
And what season is it?
Fall.
Good. And what city are we in?
Chicago.
And what state?
Illinois.
And what county?
Cook.
Good. And I'm going to ask you to remember 3 words for me, okay? The words are apple, penny, and table. Can you repeat those?
Apple, penny, table.
Say them again.
Apple, penny, table.
Good. Remember those. I'm going to ask you them. Spell the word world for me.
W-O-R-L-D.
And now backwards.
D-L-R-O. I don't remember the last one. Oh, God.
Take your time.
Okay. World backwards, was it?
Spell it again.
Okay. Could I, like...
No.
Oh. Okay.
Spell it forwards again if you need to.
Oh, now I can't even do that.
All right.
Okay.
Why don't we move on and we'll come back if we need to. What's this called?
Watch.
And what do I have in my hand here?
Pen.
Right. And repeat after me. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Good. Do you remember those words I asked you to keep in your head?
Apple?
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Any of the others?
No.
Not right now. Okay. I'm going to ask you to do 3 things with this piece of paper, and do them after I say go. Pick up the paper with your right hand, fold it in half once, and give it to Jessie. Go ahead. Okay, I'll take it back. Now we're a little constrained here because we don't have a desk, but I'm going to give you this. Here's a pen.
Okay.
And read what this says.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Read it out loud so I can hear it.
Close your eyes.
Good. And now make a copy of this picture.
Okay.
Let's see. Good. Great. So you did pretty well. Even though you had trouble with world, your total score was a 27, and that's exactly the same as last time. So, you know, we consider stability is a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
that's what we want to see. So let's go over some of the other questions and talk about some of the other issues
Okay.
today. You want ready to talk about the driving issues? Yeah, all right. So you got a copy of the report, I understand. Did you read through it? What were your thoughts?
Well,
I know you have a whole lot of thoughts here, but
yes, I
we'll,
do.
we'll go back to those. What are your thoughts, or what was your understanding of what they said?
well, my understanding was that they don't want me driving by myself down to St. Louis.
Why? What did they say?
I don't remember that.
Okay. And how do you think you did on the driving evaluation?
Well, I don't exactly know how to evaluate it from the perspective of,
All right.
you know, what the outcome is going to be.
Okay.
You know.
Did you think it went well for you? Did you get where you needed
Well, I
to
thought-
go, or did they correct you a lot? I mean, what was your sort of feeling during the test?
Well, for the most part, I felt fairly good.
Did it seem like a fair test? Did they
Yeah.
did they use your car or their car?
Their car.
They noticed a couple things that were just a little that they mentioned to me, and may have been a little bit concerning. You were at times a little inconsistent in your performance. So if you got distracted, you might move in the lane a little bit, or you might slow down, but not appropriately slow down in traffic. You might just slow down on your own because you'd be talking. So what their suggestion was, and that's what we're going to talk about, is that said because you were a little bit inconsistent between the two times, and because there was a history where you had gotten lost, I think before, that they recommended that if you drive, that would be okay, but with a couple restrictions, and that was their suggestion. One restriction is that you should drive to local and if you're going to drive, it should be only to local and familiar places. Okay? They had some concerns about your driving to St. Louis. Now, I should say that based on the report, the test wasn't to have you drive to St. Louis, so they didn't test your driving to St. Louis, but based on your history, they're making a suggestion about that. Jesse, have you driven with Margaret?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And recently?
Yes. Probably about a week and a half ago, I think. In St. Louis. I'm so stuck on the St. Louis thing. Just from her apartment, we went up to church and had dinner up there for that speaker that time. And
And
so,
then there was the time when we shared driving back from Calvin.
that was in
That was
June,
in
and you
August.
drove a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she seems to be doing really pretty well, I think. I felt fine.
You felt comfortable
I felt
in the car?
okay.
Okay.
I guess I'm a little more on edge just because I know, all that's going on. But I felt, she did a great job. And she
Okay.
turned left out of a gas. We stopped and got gas, and she turned left into, onto a road
And did that
busy
fine,
and did that fine.
and paid attention to traffic.
And paid
all that.
attention to traffic.
All right.
So.
So that's great. I'm glad to hear that. And you have a list here of things. Did you do this list on your own? Did you get,
Oh,
or did
yeah.
you talk about it with someone? Well, I have to say I'm impressed with the list because it demonstrates some thoughtfulness, I think, about the issues. And let's talk about a couple things. So, St. Louis is a straight trip, and you've made it many times before.
I do it all the time.
What's in St. Louis again? That's so important.
Well, it's my hometown, and it's where I go. I do sort of most of my vacation
Okay.
time is because I have friends down there
So
who
when
we also went to school with. Well, one of them went to school.
So when
Anyway.
you're going to St. Louis, do you just go there and go to your house and no one sees you, or you're...
No, I go to their house,
Okay.
and they're there, and
So you would be, people would know you're coming
yes,
and would be expecting you.
and you'll see that there.
Yes.
I let you know.
Yes, okay. All right, so people would know you're coming and would expect you to arrive. And do they know when you leave Chicago?
I'm starting to get to where I do that. Yes.
I really like your suggestion about the cell phone. And do the people who expect you in St. Louis, do they have your cell phone number?
I'm not sure if they have mine.
Right, so that would be important.
Okay.
So give out cell phone number to friends.
Okay.
Friends here and friends there.
Yes. Did you
Um,
write that
I did.
here and there? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
to friends here and in St. Louis. Okay. And then, okay, and then you have a whole discussion about the various rest stops. I think, you know, for now, I would probably be okay with you continuing to drive to St. Louis because you have a lot of good plans here. And I think a good sense of some of the difficulties and that you really do demonstrate that you've thought through this. What I would like to have you make sure is that you tell people when you're leaving. People here is fine, but the people in St. Louis would be important. I want to make sure that you start out in the early morning, so if it takes a few hours to get to St. Louis, that you're not arriving when it's dark. The phone should always be on when you're driving. Don't talk on the phone while you're driving. And this is something we're going to have to periodically rethink about and reevaluate. You're changing, but you've been pretty stable this time, and I'm comfortable with saying you can continue that for now. Right. Good. Anything else?
No.
No, you're happy.
Oh,
You're really
yeah.
happy. All right. So I'm glad to be able to say that. I think you did okay.